My name is Elias Thorne. I was an army scout. Was. That word matters now. I need to tell you about Fort Harker, about what I found there in October of 1876, about what I did after. The Army does not talk about Fort Harker anymore. Check the records if you want. You will find requisition forms, supply manifests, personnel rosters, all dated up to October 14th, 1876. Then, nothing. Like someone just stopped writing mid-sentence and walked away from the desk. I was the one who found it empty. I would been riding supply routes through Wyoming territory for 3 years by then. Good work for a man who did not mind being alone. Fort Harker was my monthly run. 43 men stationed there. Small garrison, but important. They watched the northern pass, kept the peace with the Arapaho, maintained the telegraph line to Laramie. I knew every man at that fort by name, knew which ones played cards, which ones could not hold their whiskey, which ones had wives waiting back east. Captain William Mercer ran a tight operation. Fair man, stern but fair. The ride from Cheyenne took me 4 days that October. Weather was turning cold, aspens going gold on the hillsides. I remember thinking it was pretty, beautiful even. I was in a good mood, had letters from families to deliver, fresh tobacco, 3 barrels of salted pork. I saw the smoke from their cook fires 2 miles out. Normal. Expected. What I did not see were sentries on the walls. That should have turned me around right there. Should have ridden straight back to Cheyenne and reported it. But I told myself maybe they were just inside getting warm. Early snow was coming. I could smell it in the air. The gates were open, not broken. Not torn off hinges, just open, wide open, like someone had unlocked them, swung them back, and walked away. I called out, "Hello, the fort!" Nothing. My horse did not want to go through those gates. Started tossing her head, dancing sideways. I would had that mare for 6 years. She would walk through gunfire without flinching. But she did not want to enter Fort Harker. I should have listened to her. I dismounted and led her through on foot. Took me 20 minutes to get her inside. By the time I did, my shirt was soaked through with sweat. Despite the cold, the parade ground was empty. 3 cook fires still burning. Pots hanging over them, stew still bubbling. The smell hit me first. Rabbit stew. Onions. Normal. Completely normal. But no one was eating it. I walked to the nearest fire. The stew was hot, fresh. Could not have been cooking for more than an hour, maybe 2. I touched the pot handle. Had to pull my hand back, too hot to hold without a cloth. Someone had been here recently, very recently. "Captain Mercer," I called out. My voice echoed off the empty buildings, barracks, mess hall, officers' quarters, all the doors open, all of them just open. I checked the barracks first. Bunks made, military corners, everything regulation. Gear stowed properly in the footlockers. rifles racked on the wall, cleaned and oiled. I counted them twice. 40 rifles. The fort had 43 men. Officers carried sidearms, not rifles. The numbers matched perfectly. Nobody had taken their weapons. I ran my hand along one of the bunks. The blanket was still warm. Someone had been lying there maybe an hour ago. There was a half-written letter on the small table next to it. I picked it up. Dear Martha, the territory's beautiful this time of year. The aspens are. That is where it stopped, mid-sentence, the pen lying across the paper. Ink still wet enough to smudge when I touched it. I set it back down carefully. Like I was in a church or something. I was disturbing something sacred. In the mess hall, I found tin plates set out on the tables, 14 places, like they would have been about to sit down for a meal. But the plates were empty, clean, waiting. I am not a superstitious man, was not, but standing in that mess hall, looking at those empty plates, I felt something cold settle in my chest. Not fear exactly, not yet, just wrong. Everything was wrong. The stables. I needed to check the stables. The smell hit me before I even opened the door. Horse sweat, fear sweat. You learned to recognize that smell. Animals know things we do not. All the horses were there, every single one. 43 horses for 43 men, plus the supply mules, all accounted for, all alive, all terrified. They were not just spooked. I have seen spooked horses. This was different. This was primal terror, the kind that makes an animal lose its mind. They were pressed against the back walls of their stalls, as far from the parade ground as they could get, whites of their eyes showing. Some of them had rubbed their muzzles raw against the wood. One of them, a big cavalry roan I recognized as Captain Mercer's mount, was bleeding from his hooves. He would be pawing at the ground so hard he would worn through the quick. I tried to calm them, could not. They would not even take sugar from my hand. That is when I started to feel it too. There was a sound. No, not sound exactly, more like the absence of sound. You know how it feels before a thunderstorm, that pressure in the air, that sense that something's coming, the way dogs start whining and birds stop singing. It was like that, but underground. I stood very still in the stable doorway, put my hand against the wooden frame to steady myself, and I felt it. A vibration, so faint I almost thought I was imagining it, but it was there, coming from the ground, rhythmic, regular, like something massive, something deep, breathing. I walked back out to the parade ground. The stew was still boiling. I stood there in the center of the fort, turning slowly in a circle, trying to understand, trying to make the pieces fit into some kind of sense. 43 men do not just vanish. They do not leave their fires burning, their food cooking, their horses penned. They do not leave the gates open in hostile territory. They do not leave half-written letters and wet ink and warm blankets, unless they left in a hurry, unless something made them run. But run where? And why not take horses? Wanotic weapons. I looked at the ground beneath my feet. The dirt was packed hard from years of boots and drills. But there, near the center, it looked different, softer, like it had been turned over recently. I knelt down, put my hand on it. It was warm. The ground was warm. In October, in Wyoming territory, with snow coming, the ground was warm. I checked every building. Armory, commissary, magazine, officers' quarters, all empty, all normal. In the commissary, I found a ledger open on the desk. Supply inventory, half completed. The pen was still lying across the page, so wet. Whoever had been writing in that ledger had put the pen down maybe 30 minutes ago. The sun was getting low. I needed to make a decision. Ride back to Cheyenne in the dark, or stay here overnight. I chose wrong. I am sorry. I need to stop for a minute. My hands are shaking. They do that now. Have not stopped since Fort Harker. Where was I? The sun. Right. Getting low. I decided to check the captain's quarters. If anyone would have left information about what happened, it would be Mercer. He was meticulous, kept detailed logs of everything. His quarters were in the northeastern corner of the fort. Nice room for an outpost. Desk by the window, bed with a real mattress, trunk at the foot, small pot-bellied stove in the corner. The stove was cold, had not been lit that day. I touched it to be sure. Stone cold. But the room smelled like coffee, fresh coffee. I looked at the desk. There was a cup sitting there, still half full. I touched the side of the cup. Warm. The coffee was still warm. The desk had papers scattered across it, reports waiting to be filed, letters from command, a requisition form for winter coats, and in the center, a leather-bound logbook. The fort's official daily log. My hands were shaking when I picked it up. Do not know why, just a feeling, that sense you get when you are about to learn something you do not want to know. I opened it. Captain Mercer's handwriting, neat, precise. I flipped to the last entry, October 14th, 1876. That was today's date. The entry started normal. Weather report, routine patrols, supplies running low on medical stores, a request for more ammunition, standard stuff. Then the handwriting changed, got messy, urgent. The drums began at sunset last night. Corporal Davies heard them first, thought it was Arapaho. The direction is wrong. The sound is coming from under the parade ground. I stopped reading. Read that line again. Under the parade ground. I looked out the window at the parade ground. The fires still burning. The pots still boiling. I kept reading. We investigated. Nothing on the surface. But when we put our ears to the ground, we can all hear it. Drumming. Rhythmic. Constant. Getting louder. The next part was harder to read. The handwriting deteriorated. The men are frightened. I am frightened. This is not natural. The sound is inside our heads now. Even when we move away from the parade ground, we hear it. Thum-thum, thum-thum, like a heartbeat, but too slow, too deep. There was a gap, like he would stopped writing for a while, maybe hours. The handwriting when it resumed was different. "Shakir, I ordered the men to pack. We need to evacuate." But when we tried to leave, the horses would not move. "They will not go near the gates." We tried to lead them out on foot. They break their tethers, run back to the stables. Some threw their riders. Sergeant Morrison broke his arm. Private Chen got trampled. The animals would rather die than leave this place. Why? Another gap, longer this time. When the writing resumed, it was barely legible. Like someone writing in the dark, or writing while something else was happening. "The men are hearing voices now. They say their names, their real names, not the names on the roster. The names their mothers gave them, names they never told anyone out here. How does it know? How does it know?" The final entry took up half a page. The pen had torn through the paper in multiple places. Some of the words were just gouges in the leather beneath. "The drums, they are coming from under the parade ground. God help us. It is opening." That was it. Nothing else. The log ended there. I stood in that room as the sun touched the horizon. The temperature was dropping fast. I could see my breath, and I could hear it. Thum-thum, thum-thum. I told myself it was my own heartbeat, just my pulse in my ears. That is all. But my heart does not beat that slow. I walked to the window. The parade ground was darker now. The sun almost gone, the fires still burning, but the light was different. Wrong. The shadows were too long, too dark. They did not fall the right way. And in the center of the parade ground, the dirt looked disturbed. I had not noticed it before, or maybe it had not been there before. I tried to remember, tried to picture the parade ground when I first rode in. Had that depression been there? I could not remember. That scared me more than anything. That I could not trust my own memory of something I would seen just 2 hours ago. The depression was maybe 20 feet across, perfectly circular, too perfect, like someone had drawn it with a compass, and the dirt inside it was darker than the surrounding ground, richer, like topsoil from somewhere deep. Like something had pushed it up from below. I watched as I stood there, watched that depression, and I swear to God I saw it move, not fast, slow, so slow you could almost convince yourself it was your imagination, settling deeper, inch by inch, like something underneath was making room. My horse was still in the stable, still pressed against the back wall, still terrified. I did not bother with the saddle, just grabbed her mane and hauled myself onto her back, kicked her toward the gates. She would not move. I kicked again. Nothing. She was frozen, absolutely frozen. "Come on," I whispered. "Please. Please move." Thum-thum, thum-thum, thum-thum. It was getting faster, the rhythm changing, like whatever was down there was waking up. I slid off the horse. My legs barely held me, started running for the gates on foot. That is when I heard the singing. It started low, so low. Felt it in my chest before I heard it with my ears, a vibration that made my teeth ache. Then it rose, became sound, became voices. Not English, not any language I knew, not Arapaho or Sioux or Spanish or French, nothing human. Oh, the kind of sound that should not exist in the world we know. Multiple voices harmonizing, dozens of them, maybe hundreds, all singing the same melody. The same terrible, beautiful melody. And underneath the singing I heard other sounds, footsteps, not on the ground, under it, the sound of many feet walking on stone far below, marching in time with that rhythm, thum, thum, coming from beneath the parade ground, more and faster. Made it through the gates, kept running, did not look back, not once. I ran until my legs gave out, collapsed. The aspens about a mile from the fort lay there gasping, logbook clutched to my chest. The singing stopped. The silence after was worse than the sound. I looked back at the fort. The cook fires were still burning. I could see the orange glow against the darkening sky, and I understood what I had to do. I cannot explain how I knew. Some knowledge just arrives in your mind fully formed. This was like that. Clear, absolute. Whatever was under that parade ground had called those men down. All 43 of them. And now it was waiting, patient. It had all the time in the world. How long until someone else came? How long until another garrison was sent? How long until whatever was down there called to them too? I waited until full dark. Then I went back. I am not brave. I want you to understand that. What I did next was not courage. It was necessity. I walked back through those gates one more time. The depression in the center of the parade ground was deeper now. I could see it clearly in the firelight, and the ground around it was cracked, fracture lines spreading outward like a spider web. It was opening. Mercer had been right. It was opening. I went to the magazine, took every barrel of powder we had, took the blasting charges meant for clearing rocks, took the oil from the lamps, took everything that would burn. I worked fast, spread the powder through the barracks, the mess hall, the stables. I set charges under the walls. I poured oil on the wooden structures. The singing started again while I worked, closer now. Right beneath my feet, multiple voices, maybe dozens, maybe hundreds. I did not look at the parade ground, did not let myself look at that depression, at the cracks spreading wider. When everything was ready, I used one of the cook fires to light a torch. I am sorry, I said out loud. Do not know who I was talking to. The men, maybe. The 43 soldiers who would heard that song and followed it down. I threw the torch into the barracks. The powder caught with a sound like thunder. Then the blasting charges went up. The ground shook. The walls came down. Fire spread faster than I could run. I made it through the gates as the magazine exploded. The force of it knocked me flat. I felt the heat on my back. Heard wood splintering, stone cracking, horses screaming. God, the horses. I can still hear them. When I finally looked back, Fort Harker was gone, just a burning crater, flames 200 feet high. Black smoke pouring into the night sky, and underneath the roar of the fire, just for a moment, I heard the singing turn into screaming. Then, silence. I rode through the night. Reached Cheyenne 3 days later. Reported to the Territorial Command. Told them Fort Harker had been attacked. Burned. Everyone lost. They sent investigators. Found exactly what I told them they would find. Ashes, destruction, no survivors, no bodies. The official report blamed hostile action. Arapaho raiders, they said. Though no one could explain why the Arapaho would burn a fort without taking anything, without leaving any sign, I did not correct them. The army built a new fort 15 miles south. Different location, different name. They never rebuilt Fort Harker. I quit scouting after that. Took work in town, blacksmith's assistant. Anything that kept me around people, around noise. Because I still hear it sometimes, late at night, when everything's quiet. I hear that rhythm, thum, 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 and sometimes I hear the singing. I tell myself it is memory, just my mind playing tricks. The fort burned. Whatever was down there burned with it. But last week, I met a trader from Montana Territory. He told me about a mining camp that went silent. 47 miners vanished overnight, left their tools, their claims, their supper cooking on the stove. The last one to leave wrote something on the wall of the mess hall. The drums are coming from below. I asked him where. He told me the coordinates. I found a map, marked the location of that mining camp, then marked Fort Harker. They are on the same line, exactly north-south, 300 miles apart. I have been having dreams. In the dreams, I am walking across Wyoming, walking south, and with every step, I hear it getting louder. There is a town called Sweetwater between Fort Harker and that mining camp, right on the line. Population 412. I am leaving for Sweetwater tomorrow. I need to warn them. Need to tell them to leave. Need to tell them what is coming up from below. I just hope I am wrong. Hope it was just Fort Harker, just that one place. But I do not think I am wrong. Sometimes I stand very still and put my ear to the ground, and I swear to God I can hear it, not just in one place, everywhere. Thum, 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 thum. The whole earth drumming like a heartbeat. And I think about Captain Mercer's last words. It is opening, not it opened. Opening, present tense. Still happening, still coming.